Hey everyone!
Good to see you. You're looking well.
And in this video, I'm going to be reviewing and ranking all 3 seasons of The Boys.
Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast.
Before I begin, I want to say how much I really love this show. The dark social satire it offers up is top-notch in my opinion.
You don't trust me. Susan, I am shocked and saddened by that.
It can be a little over the top and a little ridiculous at times, but they find a way to remain original and fresh. As a huge Marvel and superhero fan, I really enjoy what they do with all the different heroes here. And it somehow finds a way to have some of the grittiest and gruesome scenes in entertainment.
Holy fuck! That was diabolical!
Without it getting too overbearing, and the subtle / over-the-top humor balances things out so well. This show also features some amazing world building, and I can't get enough of all the small details they throw in. The way Vought runs the world and controls its soup is super fascinating to me. I also think some of the characters on this show are some of the most layered and interesting in any show I've seen. Especially Homelander, he is portrayed so well, and I'm fascinated with him whenever he's on screen. He brings ridiculous tension to every scene. And consider liking and subscribing
Don't be a cunt.
if you don't want to miss out on my ranking of all the Boys characters coming out real soon.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
I'll put a link in the description below, and a quick warning, there are spoilers ahead for every season of The Boys. But let's jump into this and not waste any more time. In third for me personally is Season 2.
Sorry? Yeah, I said it. We're all square.
For me, even though this season is in last place, I still think it's so amazing. It has some incredible highs, but also some real lows for the series. I think it builds well off the cliffhanger of the previous season, and I love Homelander's storyline with him realizing he has a son. It was especially great given his backstory, watching him try to be a parental figure. And the scenes with him and his doppelganger were so intriguing, and added some interesting layers for him. This season ended on another amazing cliffhanger with Ryan accidentally killing his mom and fatally wounding Stormfront. The tension following with Butcher protecting him was amazing and heartbreaking at the same time. But I thought Butcher and his wife's storyline could have been executed a little bit better. Given the circumstances, there should have been a lot more emotion leading up to her tragic death. Stormfront was a horrifically great addition this season. It was great going from loving her brash sarcasticness to hating her racist Nazi ass.
Don't be a pussy, laser my fucking tits.
Watching the girls whoop her butt as they get it done is so satisfying. The commentary on terrorism is well done this season, adding a funny running gag with whether they should be supervillains or super terrorists. I love the episode where the boys are at Vought's testing facility. Seeing all the different soups was so great. The action this season is definitely improved over the first season, and the world building gets even more expansive as well. One of my favorite parts of the whole show is the commentary they lean into on the movie side with Dawn of the Seven. I just rewatched every Marvel movie, so that was a joy for me. Unfortunately, I think Maeve starts to become a bit of an afterthought this season, but they do tie her in well at the end. And I like her relationship with her ex a little bit more this season than the first. The Congresswoman twist with her having 11 powers was great, and I did not see it coming at all. Kamiko's storyline with her brother wasn't bad, but compared to some of the other more interesting characters and storylines, they fall flat for me. It was a ton of fun to finally see Lamplighter this season after being introduced and teased in the very first episode. He definitely didn't disappoint, and his casting was amazing. I thought the deep storyline with the religious cult was a little slow, but it does work out overall for his character. It was hilarious watching him talk to his gills.
Everything I hope for, you're everything I need.
And the scene where he shows up to help the whale is so awfully awesome. Unfortunately for me, Huey and Starlight take a little bit of a back seat this season. They're both still prevalent, but they don't feel like a driving force. They're both still really enjoyable though. Probably my biggest issue with this season is there's a lack of grounded, realistic danger. At one point, the boys are being chased on foot by every single one of the 7, and they all manage to escape unharmed. It takes away from the stakes and tension. So overall, I love this season, and it has some really great, amazing, memorable moments. Just compared to the other 2 seasons, I feel like it's not quite as tight, and I have a few more issues. In second place for me is season 1. The first season of The Boys does an absolutely amazing job at immediately hooking us with its storyline of Huey and Starlight. Entering this brand new, unfamiliar world, it sets up both their arcs for the series so well. I feel so bad for Huey when Robin dies in one of the most memorable deaths of all time, and I think anybody can get behind his motivations. So major props there for having a tight, engaging story. Starlight's journey this season, along with her backstory, is really great as well. Her and Huey are so easy to root for.
You put them together. Now they got their fucking Spice Girls.
This season, though not the most epic and fast-paced, is the easiest season to root for the main cast. Their overall mission is focused, and as an audience member, I could really get into it. The way Butcher's story ties everything together is also really solid here, though his character trait of hating all soups no matter what is a little one-note and it gets a little bit old. Translucent is a really fun character, and I love the first 3 episodes featuring him. Him and Butcher's fight scene is one of the best action sequences in the whole show. But the action this season is by far the weakest of any season, and the CGI can be really iffy at times. But I can get past it, as this is a much more character-driven show. Another one of the best in the whole show is the airplane sequence with Maeve and Homelander leaving everybody to die. It's incredibly important plot-wise and so gut-wrenching to watch. And I really like the dynamic between Maeve and Homelander this season. Maeve is a super interesting character, and I wish she didn't become such background in the later seasons. This season also sets up the great world building we see throughout the show and establishes the themes and tones that make it work so well. So big props to this season for setting everything up. I really like how this season we get a lot of the boys all together. Their group dynamic is great.
When they're apart, they're absolute fucking rubbish. But you put them together, now they got their fucking Spice Girls.
I'm not a huge fan of Frenchie's plotline with Kamiko this season or any other season. I like his character, but his relationship with her just doesn't work that well for me. A-Train gets an interesting little twist here with him juicing, and I love the racetrack set piece. It's exactly what would happen in our world. The social commentary is on fire there, and I think he plays a great little villain this season. His girlfriend Popclaw is really cool as well. The scene where she orgasms a man to death while high on V was amazing. Another wonderful death scene was in the baby ward with the super babies lasering everybody. So much fun. This show has some of the most unique, fun death sequences in anything I've ever seen. Homelander is wonderful this season, and I like the seeds being planted for his slow descent, but he doesn't get to go all out this season with his performance. It's restrained, but it works for his character. I just enjoy the crazy side of him we see more in the later seasons. The Deep's downfall this season is somehow tragic, though he's totally in the wrong. They find a good tone with him, and it keeps it kinda light. And the sequence with him pet-napping the dolphin is so dark, I love it. I really like the episode going to the church convention thing, as they add in some great set pieces with the stretchy soup pastor Ezekiel. They set up a lot of the future soups that we see later on, like Ant-Man and the Doppelganger, and those are fun Easter eggs to see for sure. The twist with Butcher's wife being raped by Homelander is jaw-dropping, and it gives Butcher some really good motivations. And it leads to an unbelievable confrontation at the end where Homelander burns his motherly figure's eyes out in an absolutely horrific way. And in the final episode, we also learn that Homelander has a son. What a what the fuck cliffhanger moment for sure. So all in all, this season may not be the most grand, but the tight story and relatable characters make the season work so well in my opinion. So in the second spot it goes. In first place for me is Season 3. I absolutely love this season, and my overall issues with it are pretty small. But let's start with some positives. I really like what they did with the new character Soldier Boy this season. The actor Jensen Ackles, who I love, did an outstanding job. I love the slow reveal of his backstory and how it all connected to so many characters, new and old, especially with him being Homelander's dad. So interesting, and it led to an amazing dynamic between the two of them. Homelander's arc here is probably my favorite of any of the seasons throughout. He's so on edge and entertaining here, and it was really interesting to see him finally lose it and be himself. And the commentary with his crazy antics actually gaining him popularity was so relevant. And I was surprised how I kind of sympathized for him when Ryan got hurt. Black Noir also got some extended screen time this season, and that was really cool to finally see. It was hilarious how they made us understand his thoughts with the cartoons. I wish they would have done that a lot sooner. I also really liked what they did with A-Train this season. They found a way to make me sympathize for him a little bit with his brother getting hurt and a tearful scene with Huey. I think it worked really well and was well earned. I think the season was the weakest in terms of the boys' group dynamic. It was lost just a little bit for me. They were all separated and on their own missions for most of the season. But that wasn't all bad. Frenchie and Kamiko's storyline this season was probably my favorite of any of the seasons. I liked finally getting to see her emote a little more than just being angry and sad. Her singing scenes were refreshingly fun. Butcher and Huey gaining powers was a little bit mixed for me. I liked Huey's powers. It was great watching his naked ass teleport around. But I wish Butcher wasn't quite so OP. They could have gave him something more entertaining than a Homelander copy. We see so many crazy powers in this show. I'm sure it's comic book canon, but come on. This season features probably the craziest 2 episodes in the whole show with Herogasm and the season finale. So many crazy things happened and the tension was unbelievable. They found an intense way to bring everyone together and tie it all up well while still leaving on a great cliffhanger for the next season. With Soldier Boy learning he has a family and the will they won't they kill each other. I even think they saved Maeve's storyline in the final episode. She felt wasted most of the season, but had a badass arc by the end, and I was rooting and sad for her. Though I think she probably should have stayed dead, it would have been a lot more impactful and memorable for me. The Deep was hit and miss for me this season as Homelander's bitch boy, but it made sense I suppose for him as he has self-confidence issues and he was desperate to return to the Seven. And they set it up really well in the first season. Maybe next season he'll hit the more redemptive arc that I was hoping for. I really want to root for him, but the show just won't let me. I also think Ashley, the new head of the superheroes, deserves a big shout out here. Her character is portrayed really well and adds an interesting element with Homelander. I love some of the ridiculous set pieces this season with the knockoff Ant-Man. The Deep's fish fetish gets even nastier this season than before. And Kamiko's fight with all the dildos was so amazingly well done. All in all, this season was very satisfying, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
My biggest issue, though small, is I wish we got to see more practical effects, as the CGI can be unbelievably weak, especially on the gore and blood. But that will do it for this one, everyone. Please like and subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any future content. Have a good one, and thank you for watching.